Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Sunday morning, ready to do some podcasting. Find us everywhere you find podcasts. The official weapon of the show is
the folding chair.
An unofficial sport.
Bullet ball.
And bullet ball, extreme. Don't forget, leave us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. We love reading those as long as they're nice. You can still get posters. Email me, theblackouttips@gmail.com. $15 minimum. I got Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, all this stuff. I don't know when I'm gonna stop selling these posters. I'm gonna say the end of the week because I don't want to do this forever. But definitely make sure you guys, if you want a poster, hit me up sooner rather than later, because at some point,
both of us.
Yeah, at some point, they're all signed by both of us, and at some point, I think I bought like maybe 12 of these little things to put posters in. Mm-hmm. So I guess maybe when I run out of those, if it's not too soon, I'll just stop selling these posters. Mm-hmm. But anyway, just letting you guys know in case that's a thing that interests you. If not, move on, no problem. Don't forget also, you can become a premium listener. The blackouttips.com/premium is how you sign up for that. It does have its own RSS feeds for each one of our separate premium shows that work in most podcast catchers, so you can still listen to the show through whatever apps you're using, except for like I think Spotify, and I think maybe Pocket Cast has some issues sometimes with the feed. But in general,
everybody else, we can just drop it.
Yeah, in general, we have it, and so that's an easy way to stay up to date with all the premium stuff behind the paywall. And of course, you can always listen to our website. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I think that's about it. For just stuff up front in general. Karen, do you have any banter? Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to the banter then. Do you have any banter? Talk to me. Do you have any banter? Talk to me. Do you have any banter? Do you have any banter?
I do.
Talk to me. Do you have any banter?
I do.
Banter. All right, Karen, hit up that banter.
Yes. Some of this banter actually happened yesterday. We saw a deer out of nowhere yesterday. We was just going down the road. It was all dark, and the damn deer jump scared me. I don't like deers because particularly when you driving. Like, I've had friends that been like driving in the country and shit, and the deer came out of nowhere and like totaled her car. It just boom, and she was out for a commission. I'm fucking around with deers. You can have it, deer. So it just kind of, I'm glad it was like off. And it was another one, and because deers just kind of jump and you don't know where they're gonna land. Like that I don't play with deer.
Okay. I think that opening, like, to Get Out, where the deer jumps into the car, is one of the scariest scenes in the movie. And that movie is scary, but that deer scene gets me every time. I jump out my seat because that deer was moving so fast and it hit the car so hard. And of course, the old horror story that I don't know if it's an old wives' tale or if it's literally something that happened or not, but the horror story that is the deer gets stuck in your windshield and kicks you to death or something like that. Mm-hmm. That I've heard people say would happen to people. I don't know if that's even a thing that really happens, but it's scary enough that I don't want to be the first motherfucker it happened to. So
it ain't gotta happen to me for me to actually just believe it, type of thing. And it's also one of them things where you be like, hey, dog, I understand we human and we like to build shit and go into the forest and shit, but this was their home. And guess what? As their home gets smaller, they gonna come in our territory, and they gonna meet some cars and shit. And you're like, hey, dog, like, a deer gonna deer, but it is dangerous for the populace, when these animals just do something like that. Because, a lot of them don't. Not that they don't know what a car is, but what they don't. But it's just one of them things where nobody's prepared, the deer nor the person. Particularly if you like me, who ain't studied nobody's animal degree on deers. I don't know how they respond and all that shit. I fucking scared it attacks me. So I don't want to be that person. So I just slow down and be like, dear, you got it.
Frost Nixon sounds like a really dope name for a Negro League closer. Frost Nixon is what we call the interview between David Frost and Richard Nixon. That's like this iconic interview. There's been a movie made off of it. I think there's been books and shit about it. But it also just sounds like a cool ass name for just a like somebody that was in the Negro Leagues that just used to come in the game and ice the other people's shit, you know, just be like, ain't nobody getting no hits off Frost Nixon, you know. I said this on Twitter, and shout out to my man Derek, who said he probably would have an awesome backstory too, like Satchel Paige. Satch started calling him Frost because when they put him in the game, the other team's bats would freeze. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's a cool ass name.
Started, yes.
Frost Nixon, that's a dope name. I'm surprised nobody's named a kid Frost Nixon. He could be like a defensive back for Alabama State or some shit. I don't know.
Come on.
It just sounds like a cool ass name.
When he steps on the field, it freezes. All of a sudden, nobody can catch him. Yes, let's go.
Like Frost Nixon, man. He locked that wide receiver down, made him ice cold or something.
Yes.
Somebody out there with the last...
freezes their knees. Some shit like that.
One of you people listening to this show with the last name Nixon, name your kid Frost now. 18 years from now, we can talk about it on the show. Karen?
My next one is, I don't know what happened yesterday, but I think somebody put out the ice cream alert, because yesterday me and Roger wanted to get some ice cream. We was like, cool. We went to 3 different ice cream places, and all them motherfucking lines was long as shit. Everybody was like, I want ice cream too. So I don't know if somebody was like secretly in everybody's mind put out the ice cream alert, but it was just ice cream day. Just like a Friday is fish night, and I know that because working at night at places, people actually really do love fish on Friday night. Like, I don't know. It's just something about fish and Friday nights, particularly down south. Might not be able, but down here on Friday night, fish sells like crazy.
Yeah, it was. I thought I had the idea on a whim, but apparently everybody had the same whim because the lines were super long, and it was a Saturday night, and it was probably about 8 o'clock, so that's probably super busy time, and it's a little warmer. It's like the first real time that it's warming up this year. I think it was like 70 degrees or so. But I just didn't feel like, I wanted ice cream, but did not feel like waiting in a line, and I didn't want like McDonald's ice cream, so we drove to like 3 different places, and each place I was like, damn, they over here too. So but yeah, it's all good, you know. I'll go during the off time at some point, but I thought I was trying to treat myself, but oh well. Let's see, the way America is going, I really owe George Lucas an apology for the political Senate scenes in the Clone Wars. George, big dog, if you're listening, you was right, I was wrong, and I apologize.
Yeah, them long boring ass speeches about the Nazis coming and taking, and you know, hey, we try to protect people. That shit was real.
Yeah, that's not what I mean about the speeches being born. I just mean that there were things happening where I'm like, who the fuck? This dude is obviously evil. They just giving him all the power in the Senate? That doesn't even make sense. The Intergalactic Federation knows that this man is shady, and now I'm like, no, we did that. I saw it in real
person.
Time. Well, why would they let an evil puppet master over his shoulder really be controlling him? And I'm like, no, that's kind of what Elon Musk is doing. And no one seems to have not enough people have issues with it. Maybe everybody was too busy complaining that the Jedis weren't good enough. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what happened behind the scenes.
The Jedi's message wasn't good enough. They didn't do the right things.
Yeah, I never got to see like the whatever their equivalent of their MSNBCs and Fox Newses are in Star Wars. But
yeah, I missed the Sith News channel.
Yeah, right. I feel like the Sith News was over there, you know, really stoking the fires.
You know they was.
And everybody was just blaming Jedis and shit. And then and next thing you know, motherfucking the Emperor's taking over. And it's like, oh, damn, he really said he would be dictator for the galaxy for the day. And guess what? He's doing it. He said he was going to clone. He was going to make some wars and with some clones. And goddamn, he cloning them wars.
We thought he was bullshitting. You know, the Jedi was saying, Hey y'all look up in space. It's the big ass moon out there. We think he's trying to kill everybody, and with the Death Star, and the Sith. They came in, and they said it was fake news. They said it wasn't true, but goddamn, planets exploded. I guess we'll take them seriously now.
Look at Yoda. Why he talk like that? He's senile. They need to make him step down. What's wrong with him? Did you see him at the last debate? He was saying his words backwards. He was like, evil you are. Why is he saying it that way? It's you are evil. Get this nigga out of here. But he always talk like that. He talked like that the last time. He always made those same gaffes. Don't matter. Get his old ass out of here. I don't care if it's Darth Vader.
Yes, he gonna die tomorrow.
Lesser of two evils, my ass. Get the old ass Emperor Palpatine with his motherfucking wrinkly skin and receding hairline. Damn, this analogy is better than I thought. Get his old ass in there. But ain't him and Yoda about the same age? I don't care. It don't matter for him. Okay, they tried to kill him. Literally, they did. They kidnapped him in Revenge of the Sith at the beginning of the movie. They tried to kill him, and they couldn't because God chose him, and now we are strong, and he need to be the leader of the Empire and get this old-ass man out of here. Oh, no, Yoda, save us. Yoda, what the fuck? Yoda, they done killed everywhere. Order 66 happened. Yoda, where you at, man? You don't just go off into the galaxy and the Dagobah system and go to the planet and disappear. You better come back and save us. You better give a speech. Don't do something. Don't go on no tours. Don't go on no speech tours. You better come back and save the planet because you now owe us, you bitch.
Right. And you know what? Instead of listening to the news, I listened to the Sith Rogan podcast. Yeah. And they told me, this is what they told me.
He had Darth Maul on there, and he was making some good points. I don't agree with everything Darth Maul was saying, but like a lot of the stuff he said, I mean, it made sense. We have the Jedi have gone too woke. Okay, this DEI, they got purple lightsabers in there now. They got black Jedis in there with bald heads. They got people with two tentacles for their hair. Like, I don't like all this. What happened to the Jedi I love when they were just white?
I don't like this. I was listening to the Seth Rogan podcast.
Sith Rogan.
Sith Rogan podcast. And they told me, you know what they called COVID? They called it the Jedi COVID. That's what they called it, y'all.
The Jedi virus. They said
Jedi virus. They said a Jedi was up in a lab out in Iraq. You know they make them swords they make us with magical stones. That's how we got the COVID.
I don't want none of that metachlorians or whatever they got in people. I don't want that.
I don't want none of that.
All right, Karen, your turn.
That was fun. I kind of already talked about this. I talked about going to the DMV the other day, and it was a whole ass adventure when I went to the.
When you went?
Yeah, I went to.
Oh, you went to the DMV?
Yes, I did.
Okay, how was it?
Child.
Wait, didn't we talk about? We didn't talk about this.
No, I talked about going to DMV and the lady who with the birth certificate, how it didn't match, but I didn't talk about my actual experience at the DMV. Yeah, it was a full experience. Going to the DMV. I think, I don't know about everywhere else, but here in North Carolina you can make appointments, and it's best to go ahead and go on that website and make appointments, because you can. And
the trick is, for those that are in North Carolina, or maybe you live in a state that have DMV appointments online, the trick is you need to check it every morning. They open up new appointments in the morning for like 6 months down the road, or 3 months or whatever. That's when you check it. New appointments will open up. If you check it later in the day, it seems like all the appointments are gone. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah. Roger told me that trick, and I got one. And you can eventually get it at your location, because people cancel all the time and stuff like that. So you will get them appointments. I was checking like every morning between 7 to 9 a.m. And I normally would do it like at 7. And then if I didn't see anything, I would continue to check back, because we have some up the street, and I didn't want to go to the other side of town or out in these little small towns where they're never busy, but don't nobody want to go 30 minutes out of Charlotte just for the DMV. So don't walk your ass up there. And also I learned when you walk your ass up there, the line starts at like 11, and I don't know if because when I was up there, the lady, they was saying
what line?
The line for people who didn't have appointments.
Oh yeah, but we're not talking about them. Yeah, we appointment people. We bougie. If you don't have an appointment, that's your fault.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry.
When I came, people was lining up way before 11.
Yes.
Anyway, but I really do think, no joke, not part of the banter, but I really do think because of the crackdown on immigration, when I tell you it was a ghost town when Karen went compared to when I went. Like, because I think even if you tell people line start at 11, you can't stop them. So they just lined up at 7 in the morning and just kept waiting. But when I went, it was literally nobody in that line. And it really made me wonder if, like, part of that is this immigration crackdown, because I know a lot of people get documentation from there. And there's a lot of documentation people accept at the DMV so you can get a license.
Yes.
But with these new laws and restrictions and shit and tracking, so they might track some information about you. Like, I just wonder, this is complete speculation. I have no proof, but go ahead, Karen. I'm sorry.
I 100% agree with you. And even when I went, some people were upset, and a lot of time, and she had to, when you were standing in line with appointment, because they give you like a number and all that stuff, they had to consistently make an announcement, be like, hey, if you ain't got no appointment or nobody told you to come back, you need to get out this line, and 15 people will leave. And then 10 minutes later, you standing there, and they will make that same, and every time they make that announcement, you just see a bunch of people that would just turning around and were just leaving because they didn't make appointments. And so, go ahead. Yes, it is worth making an appointment, because if not, it's just a fucking full-fledged day event. And I had all my paperwork. I had my passport, which is the easiest form of documentation. If y'all invest in the passport if you can, while you can, because it's easier than trying to drag your birth certificate, trying to get your mama to give you your birthright papers, because parents think, you born, they hold on to your birth certificate like, like they own you forever. Bitch, I need these papers. I need the papers because I need to do shit with this. So go ahead and get your passport so you don't have to fight your mama and then for your paperwork, or either they done lost it, it's folded up in somebody's Bible along with somebody's first ponytail somewhere that you can't find. So go ahead and get your passport together, because it is worth every dime. And so it just made the process simpler. But when I had went up there to take the test, I studied, I went through the sign test and stuff like this. And my silly ass, I know that lady thought I was absolutely insane. First of all, they don't really explain to you how to look into a little machine, because they have like a little machine that you look in. There's two parts to it. One part is for your nose, and one part is for you to look into. All she kept telling me was press my face into it, and I was pressing my face into it, and I was looking in the wrong part. I was actually looking in the part designed for your nose, not the part for your eyes. So I was like, bitch, I can't see this. I can't see this. It's fuzzy. I can't see this. The hell is happening? So I ended up getting Roderick to bring my glasses, which I should have had my glasses in the first goddamn place. And so because she didn't tell me. She was like, well, press your face. Bitch, I'm pressing my face. It's blurry. I can't see. Like, what the hell is this? And so once I fucking figured it out, because I had to go and sit down and then had to come back once Roger bought me my glasses. Shout out to you for bringing me my glasses. I was able to pass it. And it was really easy. You didn't even do a sign test. All they do is just like a regular sight test, because I thought I was going to have to do like the sign test. So I studied the signs just to be sure. But it was just like you do when you go get your eyes checked. What does this say? I did that, and it was really simple, and I signed, and then I was out. But I know that lady was like, oh, Lord, I got a fucking idiot in front of me today. So that was my adventure at the DMV.
Yeah, you definitely should have had your glasses already.
The one time I don't bring them.
But also, I like that you got mad at her. Like, that shit happens to everybody. That only happened to you, that you tried to look through the nose. Nobody else, she's not had that problem before. You are a story that she tells.
Yes, she telling all her coworkers about my crazy ass. Girl, I had this girl up here.
She was looking through the nose part. Yeah, you are a person that she's like, girl, this woman got mad. She got an attitude with me. She was looking through the nose, and she couldn't figure it out. And then I told her, just push your face forward, and she just kept pressing her eyes into the nose holes. I hope she don't got COVID or some shit. Like,
and what's even funnier was when I first sat down, she gave me these tiny ass wipes. And I started wiping my hands because I had touched the boys and shit. She was like, no, baby. That's for the iPhone. I say, I thought these shits was too tiny for your hands. I think the lady laughed at me because the thing is, she didn't have attitude and I didn't have attitude. She fucking laughed at me. I didn't know you fucking handed me random ass wipes. What is this? I am a mess. I am a fucking whole ass mess. I didn't know. Shit. Give me better instructions. This is what Roger got to deal with, y'all. Bless you, baby.
Well, you got your license, so listen.
I did. I'm like, how did she get them? She gave them to me.
If anybody asks, about if it's hard to get a license at the DMV, just know if Karen got it, you can get it.
Child, they give me my license. You can get your license. Anybody can get their license.
Technically, I feel like that's a bad sign for the DMV. I feel like they should not. They are not doing a good job. You should not. You should have been made to go home and come back.
Make another appointment, baby.
You gotta make another appointment. You don't need to be driving. You don't even know how to put your face in the eye holes. You don't know how to wipe out the thing so you won't get COVID. You don't. You shouldn't be operating a motor vehicle. That lady gonna be talking about
me for the rest of the year. It was hilarious. I was apologizing and shit, and she was like, "I wish all my problems were this simple." I guess I wouldn't.
That was just her way of calling you stupid.
Oh no!
I wish all my problems were this simple as her being like, these are not real problems. Only stupid people had these problems. My normal regular brain would have been able to process this much. I wish these were my problems. But you know what are my problems? You my problem. People like you holding up the line, making shit more difficult to DMV.
And it got to be. Well, at least we didn't cuss each other out. We was laughing.
Well, speaking of cussing each other out, we went to the post office to mail y'all's posters. Those of y'all that wanted posters. Mm-hmm. And many things happened. I'll try to stream through fast.
It was an adventure.
The first thing is I tried to go to the post office at 3:00. Okay, it was important to me. I was like, if I go at 3, it'll be better. And I packed everybody's stuff up. I printed out labels, but I wasn't sure where to put them because the poster holders are these tubes, mm-hmm. And it's not. It's harder to address than just a regular envelope where it's like mail here, send it here. Send it from here, mail it to here. And so I printed out the stickers for the labels for your addresses, but I just was like, let me just go to the post office and ask them what's the best way to send this shit. And they I packed them up or whatever, and I'm like, I'm going at 3. Karen's like, can you wait till I get off work? And I'm like, okay, sure, it's fine. And she gets off work and it takes her a while to get ready. But by this point, we are no longer going to be at the post office at 3. We're going to be at the post office at 4:45, 4:30 at the best.
4:30, yeah.
And so we get to the post office at 4:30. I go to the one that's a little bit on the ritzier white people side of town. But it's these 2 sisters in there work. Well, one sister in there working when I came in the line of make a couple people in front of us. And we mm-hmm. got, of course, like 12 posters, 15 posters or whatever I'm holding in a bag. And I'm like, I come up to her, try to explain my problems, or explain what I'm trying to do. And I'm not gonna lie, from the way she was talking to people in front of us and from the time on the clock, I already knew what it was. This is why I wanted to go at 3. Because if you go at 4, if you go anytime after 4:30, they want to go home.
Yeah, it's time for them to go home.
They not playing with you.
Mm-mm.
All the thing. That's when people, it's like the real world. That's when people stop being polite and start being real. Cause they was in there like, no, how you doing? None of this shit. I'm okay with that. You know, that's one of the things I liked about when I was in New York. Like, I wasn't, like, New York wasn't necessarily my speed, but I did like the people because they just don't waste a lot of time on just, you know, bullshit.
They like, get to the point. We got shit to do.
And a lot of times they just tell you enough information that you'll figure it out. So I go up there and I'm trying to explain to her what's going on. And I'm like, hey, I need to mail out these posters. I have printed out the addresses. I need, like, but I'm not sure where to put this as a label, and I don't want to waste time or whatever. And she goes, well, we got labels over there, 2 for $1, and just points to a general area in the back of the shop. She not a specific anything. And I'm like, okay. She was like, so if you take the label and maybe stick the stickers on the label or something, wrap it around the poster, it'll, you know, you should be able to do that. Now, by this time, we've waited in line. It's 4:45 or whatever. And so we got 15 minutes to figure this shit out. So me and Karen go to the back. We can't find the labels because they're just off in the corner. I'm looking at everything. And, you know, and some of the stuff to mail it is minimum $10 with certain types of packaging. And I'm like, I don't want to put that sticker on there because that's a minimum $10 off tops. I only charge $15 for this. I'm already losing money. And so I'm like, let me
try to be sure we got the right stickers.
Which anyway turns out to really be a waste of time because it still costs $10 the way we mailed it. But anyway, so we buy the label. We find the labels finally in the corner, and she hears us looking for the labels and talking to each other. But this woman was not trying to help. She was like, I tell you where it was at. Y'all are grown ass adults. Y'all gonna figure it out.
Y'all can figure it out.
And she was right. Her faith in us was rewarded because we did find them labels. And so we find the labels and we start sticking them on a thing. We realize as we're putting them on, they don't want to stick to because the poster board is curled or whatever. They don't want to really stick well. I'm like, this gonna be a problem. We need tape. There's a tape dispenser there, but it says do not use this tape unless it says first of all, every sign in that office had an attitude.
It did.
Every sign. And the sign said, are you using priority mail? If not, this tape is not for you. Now, why the sign didn't just say for priority mail user only?
Yes,
I don't know.
I don't know. Shit was confusing when I read. I was like, do I use it? Do I not use it? I don't know.
It wasn't confusing to me. I assume as a default in my bones, I assume the worst. And so I'm like, I already know I can't use that tape. And it's just tape. It's just sitting out there. We needed the tape. It would have made her job easier.
Yes,
but I was like, I'm not going to use the tape because I don't want no problems, and I can feel the problems on the horizon. Like, I'm not saying this woman wanted problems, but this woman was not adverse to problems. She was not, problem avoidant. She was on, like, if you wanted to smoke, you get to smoke, and I could sense it, and I didn't want that. So I was like, okay, cool. They had another sign that was about signature verification. I was looking at that sign, and the sign says something like, I go on the front, as if the label was personified. Like, I go on the front, and on the other side is like, and I go on the back or whatever. I was like, these signs are weird in the post office. Anyway, we go back up to her after she's waited on a couple more people in between us because, obviously she made us go to the side or whatever. And we come back, and I'm showing her like, hey, so this is what we had to do. And she's looking at it and she's like, yeah, so the label sizes with the mailing address are a little different. It's a little too big, the one you printed out for your return label. And so the machine might pick these up and actually mail them back to you as opposed to mailing them to the people.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, what, and as she's explaining it, it's it's $4.50, and so I know that, listen, okay, I'm black. I speak black. I've had jobs where you want to leave on time. I know what she was trying to say, which was maybe today's not your day. Take your shit home, come back when you're ready. But I wanted to mail y'all's posters out.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm going to be as polite as possible. I'm not responding to any her being straightforward is not bothering me the way it might bother somebody else especially down south. Right. Because I'm just like, no, it's fine. Right. And so when she's doing this, another woman comes to man the post or whatever next. And I said, oh, also the labels are kind of unpeeling. She was like, well, yeah, I can tape those up for you. That's not a problem, but you need to rewrite the labels again. So she gives us some stuff, and we basically have to write it by hand. We have to use blank stickers to cover up our address and then rewrite our address by hand, leaving y'all. So when y'all get this, y'all will see what we had to do.
Y'all see handwritten. I'm sorry if you can't read it.
This is now at this point, like, this story's not that interesting. This is where the story is interesting. So the other sister comes back, and they have, first of all, typical post office behavior. She come back, she stands at her desk, she says something, but it's kind of mumbly, and I'm not sure who it's to. Karen responds as if she's talking to us and gets ready to go over there, but me, being a veteran of the post office, I know. So I stopped Karen. I said, no, stop. She'll call us when she's ready. And she's like, I think she did call us, but she was talking to that other woman. I don't know what they was talking about. Probably just some shit with work. It was like, girl, then I told him this. Y'all know that's right. Da, da, da. And I'm just like, yeah, that's not for us yet. And then finally she looked up and was like, y'all, can I help y'all or whatever? I'm like, okay, cool. This is what we trying to do with these posters. We're trying to mail these out. She's like, okay, cool. You need to retape these labels. She hands Karen the tape. Karen, she did not understand the situation. And this not the time for honey, baby, sweetie, let's talk. Help me walk me through this. This is like DMV, post office. Those aren't those places. When they hand you the tape, you just start taping to the best of your ability. And they would have made it faster. We just tape it and then we just hand it to him and then just move. Karen's like, do you have any tape for him as well? It's 454. Like, what the fuck? They don't care. And they just gave you the tape for expedience purposes. But Karen asked, well, do you have tape for him? She don't understand what the hell Karen's talking about. She ready to go. She just takes the tape back. Just give it back. I'll do it myself. I'm like, shit, well, that just wasted another 5 minutes. Now we're going to be past 5 in here. I would, this is why I wanted to go by myself at 3. I would have been in and out. I would have did all the hard work, and I wouldn't have been talking to them and trying to see how their day was and shit. And so then she starts taping it up. One of the packages from Canada. Now I got to fill out custom sheet. Apparently I gotta put the person's address on there, the purpose of what I'm sending, the shit, all this stuff. She like, write their address down. Guess what I need to write the address down? The label that I printed out, because I don't know this nigga Canadian address by heart. Shout out to that Canadian person. They sent me more than enough. I will say this, we had the money to mail everything, because I guess y'all knew more than I knew. I said $15 and many of y'all was like, here's 20, here's 25. Damn it if y'all wasn't right, because the Canadian shit costs more, the fucking labels cost more, all
she
this
had to pull out the measuring sticks.
Yeah, and then so she's measuring it, and she's like, and then they do this thing where they're like, how do you want it sent? And I'm like, I don't know, man, like the lowest cost, whatever that is, because at this point it's like I'm looking at the sheet and the electronics, and the highest cost is like $50. Clearly I can't mail this to anybody for $50. Was it crack in here? I can't do that. We only sold them for a certain amount. So she's like, and the lowest happened to be about $10 on average for everybody. Like, I think the lowest was 9 something and the highest was like a little over like 15 or something. Anyway, so we filled all that stuff out, and as we're filling it out, what's interesting is the woman who we originally were talking to, the short sister, who, once again, they was frosty, but I would say they were not rude. That's my opinion.
They weren't rude.
Maybe it's because I speak black.
You're right.
Maybe it's because I've been there before. I've had jobs facing the public. I get it. And it is the post office. Like, we like to rag on the post office, DMV, and all this shit, but then we don't look at the shit they got to deal with, like people that look in the ear holes for the fucking eyes or whatever. And it's like, well, of course you got an attitude. By 5 at 7 in the morning, someone had an appointment and they look through the nose holes. By the time you get to 5, you ready to go.
See, I was there first thing in the morning. I was there when they opened up, so I was bright, and I was there when they wouldn't Tied.
Right. So when someone comes in at 3 and get cussed out, that's from the 7 a.m.
That's from me. I'm sorry to that person.
Anyway, so the woman who we originally were going to, there's a white lady, older white lady that gets in line. And, you know, this is why I got to stay in shape. I got to live as long as possible. Because this old white woman was on that Karen shit. You know, she wanted the fucking, you know, she wanted the full waterworks. You know what I'm saying? She wanted the deluxe treatment. She was like, "Hi, honey, I'm at the post office. How are we doing today?" And this woman is like, "It is 4:59. What do you want?" And she's like, "I want to mail this. It's very important and expensive to me." That woman was like, "I don't want to hear this fucking story about what the fuck. It's your great grandmama's brooch. I don't care about this shit. It's the wedding ring or whatever the fuck." Okay, so you want to insure it. Ma'am, is it valuable, fragile, blah, blah, blah. You know the questions you're supposed to ask. You know the questions.
A lot of times they repeat the questions, but they repeat them on purpose.
Yeah, but you answer the questions, and so I always say no to the questions because fuck it. I don't give a fuck if it is fragile. Like, just fucking mail it. And it's just a way to charge me for some more shit. Hopefully it get there and it's not broke. But with them, they really be like, yeah, so, she's like, it is important to me. It's very valuable. I need to insure it for $4,500. And so the woman was like, okay, if you insure it for $4,500, it's going to be $85 to mail it priority. And the woman's like, oh, goodness me, $85, not when Trump cutting off my Social Security. I can't afford that. And the black lady is like, okay, but it's either that or you don't insure it or you don't send it priority mail.
Right.
And the woman's
you can't have
like,
it both ways.
well, I just don't understand. What are my other options? How much is it to mail without insurance? Like $10 without insurance, but like it ain't insured.
Sure, if the shit gets
And
stolen
she's like,
or broke,
what if? And then so then she just stood there and she's doing it like, I don't know about all. There's so much to think about. It's like, ma'am, it is 5:00 now. Ain't no time for thinking. What are you gonna do?
Decisions have got to be made.
And so then the woman's like, well, I don't understand why you have to be so mean about it. And the woman's like, okay, I'm trying to help you. She's like, well, I'm trying to help you do your job better. And the woman's like, I don't need you to help me. I'm helping you. That's what I'm trying to do. That's my job. It's time to go.
Why did that lady said that?
And so the woman was like, the older woman was like, well, what if I send it the other way? She was like, ma'am, you can send it this other way and the insurance will be like $45, but it won't get there till blank day or whatever.
Yeah, it takes longer.
And listen, guys, I would like to tell you guys that I'm a proud, honorable person. And I feel like I am, but I'm an honest person, okay? And while I did feel that white lady may have had a point or two about the quality of cordialness in the service transaction, it may have been a bit rude. It may have come off a bit curt, a bit terse. It may not have been the ideal experience that one would like to have at the post office.
That day was about to close.
She wanted a 8 a.m. experience. She got a 5 p.m. experience, okay?
Yes, she did. She got a I'm ready to go home experience.
I feel as if I recorded this interaction, it would have went viral on Twitter, and there would have been a lot of racist people mad at the black lady. There would have been a lot of black people mad at the white lady. But there would have also been a contingent of people that was like, this black lady was wrong. She didn't have to be so curt to this old lady. She didn't want no smoke. That little old lady tried to have a nice day. Okay. Why I say all that is to say, the way your boy minded his motherfucking business that pays him.
I did too. I started looking at that lady trying to help her do the thing because they were the little poster things was rolling. I was helping her out. I was like, fuck that bullshit.
I know they say democracy dies in darkness or whatever. I was the darkness, my nigga. I 100%. Everything on this side of me was not happening. I was over here. I was locked in. I was locked into the woman that was doing our post office shit. I was like, yes, ma'am. Absolutely. If she was just talking, I forget what we was talking about, but whatever it was, I was just like, yes, hit the button. Okay, do this. All right.
Yeah, because you had to hit like yes every single time too, so you had to be paying attention.
And the whole time I'm ear hustling, hearing this conflict rising. Okay, and once again, I don't know that this white lady was all the way wrong. I will just say her expectations were way off at 5 o'clock. I think we can all agree on that. Whether you thought the black lady was rude or not, we can all agree. If you're coming in bullshitting at 5 o'clock, it's the wrong time to be bullshitting. So
come in when they first open.
So the black lady's like, ma'am, you need to go get like whatever this form is and come right back. This woman is like, well, I need my package so I can do the form. The woman, she's like, you can have your package. She was like, okay, well then, damn, you don't have to be so rude about it. Why that white lady said that, I don't know. You was already getting your ass whooped in the comments as is, and then the black woman just went in on some like, listen, rude, like I'm trying to help you. You the one that need this. It's 5 o'clock. You come in here doing this, blah blah blah, and da. And I'm just over here like, oh yes, Canada. What was the zip code again?
Right.
And so she goes, the old lady goes and gets her package and starts walking. She was like, well then I'll just go to another location. And the black lady's like, good, fine, get the fuck out. Like, who cares? Oh no, not my post office losing patronage. If you don't go to stamps.com, get the fuck out of my face. And so the old lady, when she walked, she got real close to the exit.
Mm-hmm. She made sure she was close to that exit.
She was like a foot out the door, and she was like, "Yeah, rude bitch." And then the black lady was like, "You a bitch," and then she just walked out and didn't come back. And then what I like, my favorite part is that it was like a dude in line behind her, and he just wanted to get his shit mailed. And let me tell you, this white man, he wanted no problems. That white man, he was me. Like, that's how I am in the post office. I will be your bitch in the post office. I don't care. I have no pride. They just stand over there, do this. I didn't tell you to come here. I don't have no pride. I'm not gonna argue with you. I ain't yelling at you. I ain't calling you out your name. You hold all the power. I need to mail something, and you are the person with the keys to the mail. I ain't got attitude. Entitlement.
Yeah, I fuck around and it don't get mailed. No, thank you.
What are you working for? A tip? You don't tip at the post office.
No, you don't.
You get your money whether I'm happy or not. So we got to do this. I know people gonna be happy when Louis DeJoy get rid of 10,000 people. I know they can't wait for it to be these two black women, but I didn't have a problem with these black women. I was fine with it. I said, cool. It's my fault for being in here late. Let's go. And so anyway, our shit gets mailed out. But it's taking so long that we're now here after 5. Mm-hmm. And of course, because this interaction happened, the two black women that work at the post office, they linking up on the sisterhood shit. You know how it is. She's like, girl, I know she was talking about that. Like, she's like, girl, she was tripping. I don't know what's wrong with her. Talking about somebody, bitch, you better get in here before 5. And like, they have completely stopped code switching at this point. Because the white man got his shit and left. Like, his shit, he got in and out. He didn't want no problems. He paid all the fees. Me and Karen are there a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because now it's just us and the two black women. Mm-hmm. And they having a sister girl moment. And you know, we all experienced the white lady cussing somebody out. So it's at this point, we're like, you know, like I said, guys, I'm a coward. I don't know that the white lady was wrong in the most general sense. But she was wrong enough to be her ass in there at 5.
Come on.
That's wrong enough.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you wanted the 8 a.m., 9 a.m. experience.
You fucked up. So she says, so at this point, they finally, now that the clock's not ticking and they about to go home and we their last customers, they finally kind of let the guard down a little bit, because now it's just not like get the fuck out. It's like, okay, y'all the last people. We know, and we've been nice the whole time. Yes. We haven't responded. Like anything we could have taken offense to, we didn't.
Anything they asked us to do, we got out of line like 3 times. We didn't give a fuck. We was like, we gonna get this mail today.
I just did it.
Right.
And y'all already know me if you've been listening long enough. I know a lot of black people don't like this. I'm not gonna call y'all bougie or nothing. Whatever reasons y'all have for it, I'm not gonna argue with you. But I do like it when black people code switch back to normal with me. at their job. It don't bother me. Like if I remember I went to drop something off at Goodwill, a dude just like, hey, big dog, da 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 da. I'm like, cool. Like, oh damn, there's a PlayStation. Like, I'm cool with it. Hey, thank you. You don't have to keep up the pretenses with me. Anyway, so they code switch back to normal, and they like, so what y'all mailing anyway? And I was like, oh, we mailing some posters. We have a podcast. I was like, oh, you got a podcast? What's your podcast? What y'all be talking about? And I'm like, pop culture, politics, stuff like that, current events. And they're like, oh, okay, well, what's the name of it now? At this point, I'm a little scared to tell them the name. Not because of the name is offensive, but because I know we're going to be talking about their ass. They might be listening right now. I don't know. Hopefully they feel like I'm being fair. Like, I don't want to start no shit. I might have to come back to this post office to mail some shit.
Right.
They might see me again.
Problems.
This ain't the first time I had to mail stuff from the post office, and the post office people became my little buddies. They be like, oh, you got some more cards? I'm like, hey, I listen to your show, man. It's good, And I could tell from how they talking, they probably would like our show. Like, I don't know 100% they love our show, but they, like, more likely than not, they probably like our show. And you at the post office, you'd be sitting in there all day talking. Anyway, so they like, well, I didn't even get to tell them the name. It's like, oh, y'all got a podcast? I'm about to look up, da-da-da. Now, the name is on the mailing label, so if they want it, they can find it. But they're like, the woman who was helping us immediately pulled out her phone. She said, podcast? Okay, good, because let me show y'all something. Now, look, it's after 5.
It's after 5.
The whole pretense of all these Kirk interactions is that they was trying to go home. So now they have taken such a shine to us. It's like 5:05, and they pulling out the phone to show us a video. To be like, look at this. Have you seen this? And I'm like, I don't know what is it exactly. And apparently it's the dude from Notorious who played Big in Notorious. And he's on the Shade Room, or he's on a podcast, and a clip from the Shade Room is like, it's on the Shade Room's Instagram. They've taken a clip from a podcast he was on. And he is apparently doing some gender wars.
Yeah, he was doing gender wars.
Yeah. And so in this clip, he's talking about like black women and why he like white women better or some shit like that. Just, something ridiculous. And she's like, because I don't like this on these podcasts. And so she's playing it, and I'm like, well, I tell you this much. We don't do that on our podcast. Like, cause she was, and these are black women. So they like, because these brothers be doing this, that, and the other, and I'm tired of this shit, da, da, da. And like, at this point, they just fully are like, they might as well be our cousins. You know what I mean? Like, they just are fully like, yeah, girl, cause these niggas be tripping or whatever. I'm just like, these niggas do be tripping though.
I understand.
It do be facts. They do be tripping. So she's like, and then you hear it, and then she's playing it out loud on the phone. And like, if I could find the clip, I play it for y'all.
Yes, I don't know.
I'm on the Shade Room's Instagram, but I don't see.
Yeah, you might just have to Google it.
I don't see how it comes up. But but basically, like what they were saying was something to the extent of like, listen, man, because what I'm saying, these black women's, they be wanting us to do this, that, and the other. But see, when I got with a girl that's not black, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have them, Latinas. I don't have the Indian, whatever. Now, he couldn't name anything that these women had done that black women wouldn't do, which is always weird.
Yes, when they do that, like, you really can't name. Women are women, but, for some reason, the women that you like are extra special or word.
Yeah. And I don't particularly know why this
Somebody said Jamal Woodward.
Okay, Jamal Woodward. Okay, I'll see if I can find it.
Woodward.
But what's funny is, like, I don't particularly see why this clip went viral any more than anything else. I know the Shade Room is always constantly riling people up with some shit, though. But yeah, so Buddy is just like giving this, like, the kind of shit we would rate on Gender Wars, and just rate. We wouldn't even study the fucking what do you call it? We wouldn't even study the legitimacy of his bullshit ass argument just because why the fuck would I ever entertain some anti-black woman shit like that on our show? Like you really got something to say when you're really just shitting on black women and trying to act like it's content to you, basically, right? And so we obviously didn't participate in it, but as she's playing it, obviously she's wanting to see, okay, I found it. She's wanting to see what we think about the shit. Now I'm gonna play this clip for y'all. Hopefully you don't get an echo. But this is exactly what she played us.
I'm keep on my Spanish better. Well, not better, because I know where she getting ready to go. Not better.
I know you said they were doing things better.
Not better. I'm gonna change that.
I'm trying to save you for the
I know you is. That's why.
Now I don't know what show this is that he's on doing this gender wars, but they asked him basically something, and he said, women, he's talking to black women, by the way, and saying how non-black women do things better. And when she asked him to define that, he act like she tried to trap him. Like, oh, whoa, now y'all don't, let me go back.
She's like, I'm using your words.
I'm not saying better. I'm saying different. Well, you just said better. Okay.
Say not better for the culture.
There we go.
Right, not better. I was dating Puerto Rican, I was dating Dominican, I was dating African, I was dating all type of other races besides American black, right? They were doing way more of what we expect we want our woman to do more than our American. Our American got real comfortable
Give me some examples.
Oh man, I mean, their mannerisms are different.
He couldn't come up with an actual
because it's bullshit.
Because one, you're not gonna find a thing that a black woman won't do for a dude that treats her well. That's number one.
That treats her well.
Like this idea that black women are so uniquely different than any other race of women when it comes to just shit like reciprocity is crazy. If you treat somebody well, they'll cook. If you treat somebody well, they'll clean. And it should be both ways for the record.
Right, should be both ways.
If you treat somebody well, you want to treat them well back. It's not really rocket science. But the point being, like, he's doing that generalized platitude shit of like, you know, listen, they just know how to talk to a brother or whatever. It's like, okay.
Like even my Indian one was from
you don't even know where she's from. I don't feel like this I'm not saying this woman isn't real, but I don't feel like this is a real actual relationship. You can't say where she's from.
Right. Wasn't a relationship.
What substance did she bring to you other than she was not a black American woman?
Right.
Just so you could be like, she different. She foreign.
It's a real, one of them countries over there, right? I didn't have to really say much to do and be treated like a king. You see what I'm saying?
This is another thing too. This is not the gender war segment, so I'm getting into his comments a little bit.
Right.
But this is another thing about it that's bullshit too. You see how low he need the bar set for him? None of this is about what you do for anyone else. None of this is about taking care of anybody else. None of this is about reciprocity. None of this is about valuing the person. It's all just like, I didn't have to do shit and she treated me like I was the best motherfucker on the earth. Who knows if it's true or not? But also, that's not a desirable trait, in my opinion. Like, I don't think that is good. Like, I could treat you like shit. You just need to go ahead and like me. Like, what? Listen, if I just show up and say, hey, I'm here with the dick, you need to drop what you doing. I don't know what's going on with all these priorities.
A lot of times with our own American black, they expect so much of us and what we're supposed to do. Like things like, if we go out and eat and we just have a nice dinner, we can go anywhere and eat and get a nice dinner. It had to be Rue Chris, or it had to be this, that, or it had to be this, that. Then I get somebody that's just as fine, a Cuban or a Colombian. They don't care about nothing. They care about.
You can take them to McDonald's. Everybody know Cuban women are cheap. Okay, you just take them anywhere, no matter how fine they are. No matter how fine they are. Of course, this is about the time where she stopped it, and both the sisters in the that worked at the post office was going off, and Karen was joining in, and you know. I was just agreeing. Like she was. Well, it's funny, man. It's so funny too, man, because even when black women have been offended and legitimately deserve to be able to vent about something, right? Black women are so fucking considerate. Because I saw this offensive shit and I'm on their side. I'm like, yeah, this nigga's tripping. This is not really rocket science. Anyone that don't think this man's tripping is tripping. But she's like, no offense, but I'm like, you don't got to no offense me. I'm not like this nigga. Go fry him up. I think he's whack.
Yes.
Like, I get it. At this point, you're going to say black men, and I know you want to say not all, but I know what you mean. You don't need to say, same way that if you're with a cool white person, and you just something racist happens and you be like, man, white people be tripping. A cool white person won't be like, excuse me, I'm white and I don't be tripping. They will be like, no, I've been around white people too. They do be tripping. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just thought it was very considerate of them to like box me out. But you don't know me. I could be a piece of shit like this guy. I haven't said anything, but can you please mail this? Maybe she was like, listen, the way he didn't respond when we was rude, he can't be like this guy.
He gotta be different.
That guy would have been like, I'm going to the Indian post office. Find me some foreigns to mail my domestic.
Oh Lord.
So then she's like, because black women, like, we do have standards and we should have standards. We have done so much on our own. We're getting degrees. We have jobs. We're getting homes. We're having to do so much by ourselves. Why would we not have a standard for the kind of man that will come into our lives hoping to get with us?
Right.
And I'm like, exactly. And also, it's a lot of these other women don't have standards. That's bullshit. People just bypass that in order to try to make it seem like they're better women.
Right.
But
they got standards too.
Yeah. Like, I always find
it
it funny.
It's insulting to them when you say shit like that.
The funniest one to me is when it's white people, when it's a dude talking about a white woman, especially a black man, and they say something like, sisters all aggressive. They want to fight all the time and all this shit. And I'm like, I know it's going to sound harsh, and I don't mean it to sound this harsh, but if a white woman called the cops on your black ass nigga, tell me that's not, because she said it different, that's not aggressive. Like, the shit white women can do to black men and get away with, straight up kill your ass and be the victim. Like, and I'm not saying this on some like, you can abuse black women. I'm saying it on some like, the idea that a white woman could not weaponize whiteness against your black ass is a complete ahistorical blind spot.
Yes, it is.
So that cannot be used in any generalized argument about why white women are better. They're more docile and all this shit. Then you don't know white women. White women in America with your black ass, they not more docile or none of this shit. They not as aggressive. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Emmett Till is dead, nigga. What are you talking about? Like, anything can happen to you. Because it's coded differently, you don't pick it up as aggression.
Right.
When you're giving up half or whatever the fuck at the goddamn at the divorce court, like, tell me that's anyway. It's ridiculous. I don't think you should put anybody in a generalized group of better or not better.
Right, they're just people.
Like I wouldn't even be saying this if people didn't say the dumb shit first of like, listen, black women aggressive, white women though they just take everything. Like, no, they don't. Fuck you, not, and especially not from your black ass.
Cause you ain't got shit, most of you. What you talking about?
Right, they might take that shit from like some white man that got a lot of money or some shit, like one of these Donald Trump loving white women, but they not fitting to just lay down and take it from somebody they think they better than.
Child, yeah, you out here having a fit with your $30,000 a year ass. Nigga, get out of here.
So, because white women treat they black men like kings. Like, get out of here. Anyway, point being, she shows us this, and we're just like, hey, I feel you on that. And we don't talk about that kind of shit on our show. We definitely don't play those games. And like that momentum carried us through and out the door. Like, it was a very cordial, nice visit by the end. They was cool. I think if I have to mail something, yeah. I wouldn't mind going back there. I'm not going to no 445 though. Fuck that. And I got some new size poster things
To
so
make
that
this shit simpler.
next time they won't have to charge me $10. Because that's the thing. Like once we got past the barrier, they was helping me out. Like, well, because this thing is 25 inches, that's why it's $10. So I'm like, okay,
because
cool.
we
I need
didn't
to
know.
get some shorter
Get some shorter
posters.
ones.
Okay, cool. She's like, and if you do the label like this, you won't have to do that. I'm like, okay, cool. That like they was helping us out after a second.
Mm-hmm.
Once they realized like we was cool,
yeah,
we wasn't
yeah.
more for no problems.
We didn't want no smoke.
But that white lady, honestly, white lady, thank you. Your sacrifice was not in vain.
It was not in vain.
You brought us together. I know you don't want to hear that. Because you didn't get to mail your shit, and you probably mad, and you probably telling somebody a story of these racist black bitches that you hated at the post office, and you can't wait for Trump to come get them. I know you're telling somebody that story, but I just want you to know your sacrifice brought 4 black strangers together in commiseration about and we barely talked about you. I feel like she called that woman a Karen. I didn't even want to have the heart to tell her that my wife's name is Karen. I just was like,
nope, it didn't even matter. I do be catching on. It didn't even matter at that point.
yeah, at that point Karen had caught on.
Yes,
After that woman took the tape back, I
I
think.
might be slow, but when I catch on, I go with the flow, y'all. Like.
When she took the tape back, I felt like Karen realized what time we was on. I don't know why it took her so long. I
don't know why either. I'm so sorry.
I knew when we left the house. I was like, we leaving at 4. It's a wrap for nice post office behavior. It's a wrap for that. That's before 4. That's like, anyway. But yeah, that was our DMV trip. Let's
but like this DMV / post office trip.
DMV / I said DMV post office, same shit. All right, let's move on to something else. I don't. This is gonna be a weird episode. I'm not doing a lot of segments. We're just talking.
No, we not. We
that
just
already
talking.
took us an hour. So anyway,
yes, child. Y'all
playing music so we can do commercials. All right. So I saw this graphic on social media going around. I'm not 100% sure where it originally came from, but I found it very interesting. It's supposedly like it's these circles, and then the circles are either red or blue, and they're podcasts and social media and online influencers and whatnot that have like shows. And they're painted red or blue to resemble whether they are considered to be Democratic or Republican, I assume, conservative or liberal.
Okay.
And the bigger the bubble, that's how many listeners they have.
Okay.
Now, if you look at this, I think what stands out first is Joe Rogan, biggest in the middle.
Of course. That makes sense.
Right? And if you really pay close attention, you'll see that all the red ones have vast more listeners than the blue ones.
Yes.
So that's the first thing you'll notice off tops. There's even when you see a blue bubble, some of them are so small you can't even see who the show is.
Right, who it is.
And these aren't small numbers, meaning so like for example, Joe Rogan has 39.9 million, and that is the biggest bubble on here. Some bubbles that you can't even see have 1.3 million listeners, 2 million listeners, and you can't even see the name.
Yeah, and that's a lot actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is how huge this is. And I think when you just take a quick glance at it, the first thing you pick up is, the right-wing media sphere, the Republican leading, conservative leading people just have a much bigger sphere of listeners. I mean, it's not close.
Mm-mm.
That's the first thing you notice. Second thing you notice, the biggest blue ones I would not necessarily call liberal, progressive, or Democrat.
Agreed.
They spend more time shitting on Democrats than some of the red ones.
Yes, they do.
So you got the Breakfast Club, 11.4, close to the center. The Young Turks, 12 million. They clearly they're not Democrat.
No, they're not.
Trevor Noah is probably the closest to Democrat, but also Trevor Noah spends a lot of time shitting on Democrats too, under the auspices of comedic fairness. Like, I feel like comedians, especially in this type of sphere, are very big on like, I have to shit on the Democrats because if not, I'm not being honest and unbiased as a comedian. Even if shitting on the Democrats is just like, they're not good enough. And I do believe in the things they believe in, but they're not good. For some reason, it's their fault that this isn't working, right? Okay. So I wouldn't even count some of these guys as necessarily, I wouldn't say they're Democratic leaning. I'd just say they were progressive.
Yes.
And that goes for Hassan Nabi, who 5.5 million, spends way more time banging on Democrats than Republicans, I'd say. Pod Save America, 1.3 million, way more time banging on Democrats than Republicans. Not saying these people are pro-Republican, just saying if you were to do a analysis of what their shows are about, it's mostly like Democrats are the problem. And if you look at the red ones, of course, Democrats and progressives are the problem.
Right.
So what it seems to me is that it's a landscape where Democrats have no home. And most importantly, it is impossible to develop a online influencer, radio, podcast sphere that is actually pro-Democrats. Because part of how people who are progressive in their messages weigh and promote themselves as progressive is by saying I'm more progressive than a Democrat.
Right.
And taking no solace, no pride, no encouragement in anything Democrats do. Period. If they are prideful of something a Democrat did, they are prideful of that Democrat, aka, oh, I like AOC. I like Jasmine. I like
not the collective,
but
right.
like collectively, even though those people are clearly Democrats and part of the party, that does not count collectively as a Democrat. Like we don't say like, oh no, I because I like AOC in the squad, because I like Jasmine, because I like Maxine Waters, like whoever my list of people is, I don't then go, yeah, I like Democrats. I like the Democrats. Those are the only motherfuckers up there in the Capitol Hill that I fuck with anyway. I am a Democrat and I fuck with Democrats. No,
right.
No. We're all too good for that. It's like, no. The problem is they aren't all like AOC. Then I would like them. It's always like the bar is moving, right?
Yeah, they can't all be like AOC.
And the difference is the conservative leaning people on this list who clearly are even more conservative than Republicans many times. Mm-hmm. Or claim to be like, I'm libertarian. I'm not really conservative like that. Mm-hmm. I'm objectively unbiased. I'm in the middle.
There's that way they're
and then they have
neutral.
And then they have Trump on their show and Elon Musk on their show and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on their show and JD Vance on their show and not Kamala Harris.
Right.
And they go, but I'm neutral. But when Trump wins, they're at the press conference and the rally being neutrally supportive of the win. Things that you rarely see out of these other blue bubbles on here. You will never see the Young Turks show up at the Kamala Harris rally and be like, yes, she's doing it. If Biden wins, they're not coming to the inauguration to be like, this is a big victory for the things I believe in, because even if I would like more, these people are pushing to get me to where I would like us to be. Mm-hmm. Whereas like a Joe Rogan will show up and be like, he could want more from Trump and he'll still be like, yeah, close enough. This is a big win.
Enough.
Come to the UFC. We got it. We out here celebrating. We dapping up. We winning. We pulling over like all these fucked up fraud appointments you got.
We winning.
Right.
Y'all niggas are all or nothing. It makes no sense.
Right. And so you see that right there going, and those are two of the main points that were obvious to me, right? The other thing you see too, a lot of men.
Yes.
A lot of men. Even on the side of the blue. Most of these are men. Hassan Abi, Breakfast Club, Young Turks, Brian Taylor Cohen, Trevor Noah. I'm not saying they have no women on their show, but these are men. Indisputable, Dr. Rashad, Richie. I'm sure there's more. I know Sam Cedar. Like, they're men. And this online influencer sphere is very, I mean, on the right, we don't even have to say it's other than Megyn Kelly, it's pretty much all men.
Right.
But it's very, they're leaning so hard into patriarchy and shit that they don't got nothing to be scared of. Like, they just like, we know what we about. We want the men to run shit like the old school white man way. And Democrats that have been saying after the election, oh, what we need to do, we got to build us an online sphere that's rivals. I'm just telling you right now, in my opinion, that is impossible and it cannot happen. And the only reason I'm saying that is because what these men want is not what you can say is part of the Democratic platform. You can't. You cannot get a Joe Rogan listener to come over to the Democrats without doing a bunch of men are right, women are wrong. I'm tired of this gay shit. I'm tired of this women having positions of power. I'm tired. Like, I'm
tired of these EDIs. DEIs.
Yeah, you need that. Like, you're not gonna get the incel culture. And so this is a war that was lost 10 years ago.
Yes.
Like, you're not catching up to 39 million. And when whoever made this list, your best and biggest guns are 3 people that I think bang on Democrats harder than Republicans. Well, I shouldn't say 3. Two people that bang on Democrats harder than Republicans, Young Turks and Breakfast Club, and Trevor Noah, who is at best fair, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Like at
he's
best,
a comedian, right?
No one's gonna accuse Trevor Noah of. I mean, I'm sure they will, but I don't ever feel like Trevor Noah is just like Democrats, yeah, rah rah rah. It's like, nah, Democrats got their ways about them too. And I mean, shit, Trevor was just in some hot water a couple weeks ago saying some shit about race and people coming together over nationality. So like, none of these spaces are the Democrat space, period. And so the last point I want to make is this. Now you have to look at the same bubble sheet that I put up, right? I'll put it back up for a second. And I want you to think about it not from a consumer standpoint. Think about it from a creator standpoint. Where is the incentive for my political commentary where is that coming from when you look at this sheet?
Right.
What should I be saying? What should Karen be saying if we want to have a bigger bubble? And this, I would say this applies to social media too. There's people I follow, there's people that follow me, and I see them this is the stuff I'm saying. Okay, so no one's going to write in about this because it's not specific to TikTok.
Right.
But I say this about social media, period, all the time, and this is no different, right? A lot of online commentary, which I don't go back and forth on politics with people anymore, because you don't even understand the ground that we are walking on is not even an even playing field. It is incentivized a certain way. If you would like to have more reach, more dopamine, more retweets and likes and follows, say a general, not specific thing that just shits on the Democrats. Now you go, but why, Rod? They're just so bad at their job. That's why I'm doing it. I'm telling you, you don't even know why you're doing it. You don't even know, because you're in this matrix and you're not taking a step back and being like, why? What are the impulses and influences that are influencing me?
Right.
I know, because sometimes I go against the grain and I feel the smack of the like get back in line bullshit, and at this point I'm 46 now. I just don't give a fuck.
Right. Don't care. I stand alone.
And most importantly, because our show isn't a show, I'm happy where our show is, and I'm satisfied with where our show is. I'm totally okay if we never get to be one of these big bubbles. I've accepted that. I like the bubble we're in and how much we've made because I feel like we're being honest, and a lot of these people are being influenced in ways they don't even fucking understand. And the impulse to blow up and to succeed and to always be bigger is still there.
Right.
And most importantly, the impulse not to be ridiculed is very strong.
Yeah, they don't want to be joked on. They
It's
don't want to
very
be
strong.
pushed out the group.
No one wants to be called a Democratic shill or whatever the fuck it is. Most people can't handle any level of pushback on their opinions and stuff.
Right.
But what I see from this as a creator is the best thing to say is something bad about Democrats, because that's what the red bubbles have in common with the blue bubbles. And all the big bubbles on that motherfucking list is like Democrats are bad to various degrees. It's either the woke DEI bullshit, we tired of that. If you look at the blue ones, who's more likely to pull out some right-wing person and bring them on their show? Tell me the Breakfast Club don't do that. Tell me the Young Turks ain't completely start trying to switch to like Donald Trump not bad. Donald Trump kind of good. We should give Trump a chance. Sink Ugger talking about I could run for president and shit. This shit right here is a encapsulation of years of things I've been saying on this show. And that's how I felt when I looked at that list. Was like, this explains why people are here. Because the creative incentive, if you want to be successful, is very plain. Democrats bad. And if you really want to blow up, Democrats bad, Republicans good, Trump good. But if you want to just be a good big blue bubble, Democrats bad. Period. That's it. Well, what do you stand for? And there's a bunch of shit Democrats are trying to do. It's, we need, like, I made this point on Blue Sky and someone quote tweeted me and honestly, or quote skeeted me. Anyway, I love that. I love that they did it because they actually illustrated my point. They was like, yeah, well, universal basic income, this thing and this thing, Democrats do that. That's the problem. And I said, thank you for pointing out the problem. Because as I was pointing out, I said, you know what the problem is for Democrats? Everyone want to be better than a Democrat.
Right.
No one wants to be like, what they are doing is good.
Just a Democrat.
No one wants to say what they're doing is good. Everyone wants to say, let me show you how I'm better than them. And my point is to say, just like how Joe Rogan would show up for Trump, I will show up for Kamala Harris, meaning I think she's doing a good job. I think she's better than the alternative. And also, I still do want better things. But that don't make me, I don't think it's because they don't want it enough.
Right.
I understand the obstacles.
It's not a willpower thing.
I understand the obstacles of running this country. I understand the numbers of running this country. I understand how our political process works. I understand how elections work. So I understand that it's not just a Democrats wake up and go, you know what? Actually, freedom of the press, I don't know. No, they would like freedom of the press. They're for that. But when the people that go vote go, I don't know if I want freedom of the press. This is what we end up getting. Shit like this. So anyway, I saw that graphic and I just wanted to talk about it real quick.
Yeah, no, and also is one of the things for me where I don't know if it's an age thing, but I'm a Democrat. I'm a proud Democrat. You know, it don't mean they perfect. It don't mean they have it all together. But it's like this. You make a list, and I don't think a lot of people ever did this. Make a motherfucking list of what each side is actually doing, and pay attention to that list. Because most people don't make a list. They're lazy. They're right. Intellectually lazy, and so they'll just say both sides are the same because they don't. When people say that, I automatically just dismiss everything you say. Also, oh, you don't want to do the work. You actually don't want to go find out. Well, why didn't I know? You don't want to find out. We have more information at the tip of our fingers than we ever had in our lifetime. I hate to be like this, and so. And I understand everybody's not going to be up on everything. Everybody's not going to know everything. Like, I get that part. But there are just some basic ass shit that has just been happening. So unless you just absolutely just tapped out, just living up underneath a rock, you ain't seen the news, you ain't listened to a podcast. Like, it's almost impossible to see these things. And so, you know, for me, I'm a Democrat. I'm going to vote Democrat because when I look at the list, one side wants me to die and not exist. Is that motherfucking simple?
Yeah, I don't have, that's like, and I think the impulse of our virtue signaling egos is to be like, I'm the best and I'm better than everything. And I think you have to kill that. You need to, I think as a country, we would all be better off if the egos of the people on the left died a little bit. If they went, no, it's not about me telling the world I'm perfect. Like, I don't need to spend my whole day on social media being like, guys, I'm perfect. I don't know what's up with these Democrats. They need to be like me because I'm perfect. I have all the answers to everything all the time. It would be nice if people would say, no, this is closer to what I want. Because that's the winning Republican strategy. If you look at the stuff that they've been able to accomplish, it's all because they just said, we'll take close enough.
Close enough.
And then they got what they wanted. And this would work for Democrats too, but it would take, and by Democrats, I mean Democrat voters. It would just take years of commitment. Like, you just have to be committed. You can get universal health care, but you need to be committed to defending Obamacare.
Right.
And if you're not committed to defending Obamacare, you never get universal health care. And y'all weren't committed to that.
No, you were
and
not.
I don't mean, like I said, I'm talking about the voters. I'm not talking about the politicians. You have to be committed to sending 60 out of 100 Democrats to Congress. I mean, to the Senate every year.
Yep. Yes,
not we can get by with 51, 52. You would need a country where 60 is the baseline. Like, we are sending you 60, not 60, not 58 in the possible. You know what I'm saying? Not here's 5 blue dogs, and you need to make a mandate.
Right.
If you really wanted this shit. I don't think we really want it, which
don't.
is why we won't be, it won't happen.
Agreed.
Instead of treating the politicians like, you don't really want it. No. You know who doesn't really want it? West Virginia. Because you sent Joe Manchin, and you know who Joe Manchin is. You didn't really want it. You know who else didn't want it in general in America? White people. Because white people would never vote blue in any state. They always vote red. And then everyone else adds up to, with a certain amount of white people, you can add up to go blue in a state. But it ain't because you won white people in the group. So, like, these are the real obstacles. It ain't and I know right now ain't the time to hear it, but at the end of the day, it's not Schumer.
Right.
Like, I get that it's Schumer right now, and I didn't like his decision yesterday. But the truth of the matter is, Schumer in the minority is going to always be a fucking problem. You wouldn't even have Schumer, meaning you'd have a better, more aggressive leader if you had 60 Democrats. They'd be like, move your middle of the road ass out of here. We have 60 of us, and we want to be aggressive. But when you have 51... now you need Schumer because you need a guy who can possibly go over to some Republicans and see if he can suck enough dicks to get them to come over to his side.
Right.
We should not be sending our politicians to the fucking up there to suck dicks. That's what we doing every time. We like, well, what if you, okay, well, look, can you maybe make it enough? Anyway, my main point being, no one's proud to be a Democrat, and that's a problem for Democrats as politicians. But it's a bigger reflection on us as people, because there are people who are proud conservatives. There are people that are proud Republicans.
Yes, they are.
There are people that are more conservative than what the Republicans are willing to put out. They want more than what they're getting.
They want more.
But you know what they do? They celebrate them victories. They do not be sitting around being like,
victories.
We won. And even if it's despite other people, they celebrate the victories.
Yes.
Which I'm totally into, by the way. When Democrats get a W, if it make the right kind of people mad, I'll be up there like, yes. You know what I mean? Like, y'all ain't like that gay marriage. You ain't like that one. Like, it don't really got nothing to do with me. Yes, it's part of my ideals, and I love equality, but also, like, I'm glad y'all mad about it. Fuck y'all, die mad. But that kind of energy is not really part of the Democratic, once again, voters, not the politicians, voters and non-voters that claim to be progressive. It's not really part of the spirit. There's no winning over here.
Right.
It's all losing. And it's all like taking on other people's losses, absorbing losses. When you win, turning it into a loss. It's just loser mentality. And I think one of the reasons you see all those big red bubbles is that those people that listen to that want to feel like they winning.
Right.
Even if they're winning at losing their own rights and losing their own jobs and losing the protections of their unions, at least they feel like they're winning. And that is something that Donald Trump and Republicans will promote even as they're lying to you. They'll be like, we're winning. We're going to do so much winning. The economy is tanking. The economy is great because we're going to be winning soon. Like, there's no version of that can be. You can't just out message that.
No,
you need a type of person that is willing to take that in and be like, we're gonna change this narrative. And I don't know that people are like that.
I 100% agree, and like I said, it's something that I personally don't need, but I do understand there is a generation and people, they need their feelings stroked, they need their ego stroked in order for them to even feel like they should get their asses off the couch to vote. I personally don't need that to motivate me, and there are a lot of voters that feel like that. That's why, like you said, that explains why a lot of people vote for Trump, because you make me feel good. I don't give a fuck about what you do.
They want to feel like they're winning.
Good, and for me, once you've been voting for years and been in this battle for a long time, wins and losses will come. Like that's just part of the process because of the way America is structured. But for me, it's not about feelings. It's like, what do you do? What are the results? What can you do? Okay, we were almost there. Let's go back. Let's get it together. Because also, I am a voter, but I've never held an office or anything like that. Like, I don't know what those people have to do. So I, as a voter, want to put these people in the best position ever where they don't have to compromise. They don't, like you said, they don't have to go up there and reach across the aisle. Because they're like, why are we reaching across the aisle? Because we give them 50 cents and we tell them make it a motherfucking dollar. And that's not how this shit works.
Yep. So I just, like I said, that it's a very interesting graphic to look at from a creative perspective. Because, that tells me why Gavin Newsom is having Steve Bannon on his show, and while obviously gearing up to try to run for president in 2028, he sees that, number one, people listen to Steve Bannon more than they're gonna listen to Gavin Newsom, which is sad because you would hope that a person like him would be an energy changer. If you want to be president, you would hope that people like him would be energy changers and be like, listen to my podcast. I'm going to have the up and coming stars of the Democratic Party on my show, and we're going to talk things through. Mm-hmm. Another thing that Sam Cedar video showed me, while I was like, the real conversation need to be having with people to the left of the Democratic Party, and being like, how can I get you in the fold if there is a conversation to even be had?
If this conversation be had.
Those conversations aren't happening. They rather talk to Steve Bannon. Gavin Newsom's supposed to be a leader.
Right. Why don't you go, like you said, down the party ticket? Why don't you go? Why don't you go across all your counties where your Democrats are and bring them on your motherfucking podcast that millions of people are going to listen to? Put the people on the platform so that people listening can be like, oh, that's who that person is. So they could be looking out for your up and coming Democrats.
Like, why wouldn't you have AOC, Jasmine Crockett? Why wouldn't you have even your people that are your outliers like Rashida Tlaib and I can't remember, Ilhan Omar? Why have them on?
Yes.
You see, to me, the main problem is that because you don't have a truly enthusiastic Democratic base of voters who are also happy to keep Republicans out of power. Right now they're just happy to say, look at me, I'm the best type of progressive person. But you need a person that also hates that Republicans would ever have power in this country.
That's me.
And we have never really had that.
Not as a collective.
Not since like the Civil War or some shit. But what you're gonna have is you have people like Gavin Newsom avoid the obvious, which is that you need to unify the Democratic Party before you can be the guy who unifies the country.
Right.
And every single analysis I've seen seems to be a lot of people trying to avoid the obvious, which is the Democratic Party is fractured. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a unifying Democratic Party leader, you don't have, it doesn't matter if you can get a swing voter in Utah or Kansas. It literally won't matter because you won't even be able to pull out the people that's supposed to be fucking with you.
Right.
And that's a killer. Because that's essentially what happened to Kamala Harris, is that everyone it's rigged, it was stolen. Say what you want to, whatever you need to coax your feelings. What I know for a fact is a lot less people voted for her than they voted for Biden.
Yep.
And it seems to be that those people, and this is why I give Biden so much credit in a time where people don't want to give him any credit. I give him much more credit than anybody else talking that shit. Because you know what he did? He unified the Democratic Party.
Yes, he did.
It was a fragile union. People was complaining. But for 4 years, it was crickets from AOC. Crickets.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying she didn't have anything bad to say, but she wasn't like, get Biden out of here, primary him. She was one of the main people going, what are y'all doing? Let this man run. Leave him alone. But it matters because that's not going to happen under anyone else. And the other reason he was so good as a statesman is he could sell to middle of America white people, hey man, I'm just like you, Jack. I just want us all to believe in the highest ideals of America and for us all to prosper. And I think we are that country, blah, blah, blah. And those motherfuckers would go vote for him. Mm-hmm. You know, sure it's because he's a man, sure it's because he's white, but it's also the kind of Democrat he was a unifier of not just the Democratic Party, but he became a unifier of America by being like, Donald Trump has fractured us. It's not your fault. It is their fault. But you need to be able to lie if you're going to be a good colleague. He's like, it's not your fault. Okay? Come on back to the fold.
Right.
And no one else can just do that.
Right. And also.
And he didn't have to do it by saying Steve Bannon was a good person. He didn't have to do it by palling around with like white supremacists on podcasts or nothing. Like, and I fully recognize in a political way he has to work with these white supremacists. Like, I'm not saying that it doesn't matter, but he has to, like, he's pulling Joe Manchin into meetings. He's trying to talk to Kristen Sinema. We sent him up there and made him have to deal with shit that I wish he didn't have to do.
Agreed.
But I truly believe if he didn't have to do it, he wouldn't.
Agreed.
And I know that by the way he governed because I paid attention to his policies.
Right.
There were meetings he would have with Republicans and they would lead a meeting and I'm like, okay, but he didn't give them any concessions. People are like, why is he even meeting with them? He's meeting with them because that's the job. But when he comes out of that meeting, let's see what legislation comes out of it. And the legislation was not capitulating to Republicans. So in my opinion, that's called good diplomacy. I talked to the Senate Majority Leader or whatever the fuck, and then he left the meeting and he was upset and he ain't gonna vote for my shit. But guess what? I am not changing what I said. I told him he need to do this or not, period. Anyway, people don't pay that much attention to that kind of shit. So we just end up with why don't Democrats want it more? And the reward system is you get a bigger listening base. We could be a bigger podcast if we spend a little bit of time just being like Democrats are the worst.
Yeah, and I was excited. That's one thing I motherfucking refuse, because I'm a Democrat. I'm proud of it. Joe Biden was not perfect, but I had no problem with motherfucking Joe Biden. Joe Biden was an old white man who did his motherfucking job. Y'all know what happened when Joe Biden was in office? I could wake up every day and not watch the news and know that the fucking world wasn't gonna be on goddamn fire. It was so motherfucking relaxing.
I don't even say words. There's certain words I've taken out of my vocabulary. One of them is such and such was not perfect. I don't say that no more. You know why? Because we all know none of them are perfect.
Agreed.
So we're only saying that to ameliorate ourselves with some motherfucker that's like, I don't like Joe Biden. Okay, well, I wasn't asking you to like him.
I didn't.
I think he was a really good president, and I think he did the job well, and better than all these people that said he couldn't do it said they would do, and better than the people that directly took office after him.
Right, and my thing about this, as much shit as people talked about Joe Biden, and as much people who really truly were just talking, just in genuine and online and in person, did not know what the fuck Joe Biden did. And when Trump took office, Trump basically showed y'all all the shit that y'all claimed that he didn't do and all that stuff. And so it to me it confirms his office, and history is going to be wonderful to Joe Biden. No matter how y'all feel, no matter what y'all say, he did a lot of things that even Obama couldn't do, y'all. And y'all know niggas love Obama. That white man was out there doing shit and passing shit that Obama couldn't even do.
The thing he had that Obama didn't have is that he's white.
Right.
So he could just be like, I'm giving money to these black farmers. Obama just could not do that fundamentally. He lost the country for just acknowledging he was black. Like Joe Biden didn't have to worry about that. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. Because I think that was a big tell. This might as well be politics till you get mad. So I'll do another couple stories. Marc Maron calls out Bill Maher for agreeing with some of the things that Trump is doing. Marc Maron was on his podcast. He had W. Kamau Bell on there. And he said, he talked about comedians talking about controversial political news, but then get into a certain mania with the stuff to where you're not even humanizing it. All these people that are sort of speaking about this as if it's a presidency, it's like, when are you guys going to wake the fuck up? Are you going to be like Bill Maher, where it's like, I'm going to agree with some of the things Trump is doing? It's like, dude, you're a bitch.
Shout out to him. He been on it for a while. He was like, I'm not here for the bullshit.
He then made fun of Maher for attempting to connect with Trump supporters such as Kid Rock. You know, Kid Rock, I like Kid Rock, Maron said in his best Maher voice, before adding, it's like, do you? And now you're going to blow him with a slightly disdainful look on your face, and that's who you are? Maron has previously been critical of comedians with podcasts.
All things short, he could have just ended up with buddy, pal.
Yeah. Maron has previously been critical of
bitch.
Has been critical of comedians with podcasts having shameless self-proclaimed white supremacists and fascists on their show to joke around like they are just entertainers or even just politicians. He shared a blog post in October shortly after Trump appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast for the 2024 election. Even though I do not do a political show, I've been very clear in my specials and on the podcast that I believe and have believed for years that it's brewing in the country as an American fascist movement rooted half in grievance and half in Jesus and enabled by tech oligarchs and inundated with propaganda from many sources. Well, it is fully percolated and pouring into the minds of all of us. It is shameless and proud. Culturally, the combination of blatant racist fear-mongering and anti-woke movement has delivered the message for the future, and the future that marginalizes almost all voices. The anti-woke flank of the new fascism is being driven almost exclusively by comics, my peers. Whether or not they are self-serving or true believers in the new fascism is unimportant. They are of the movement. Whether they see themselves as acolytes or just comics doesn't matter. Whether they're driven by the idea that they are fighting for is free speech issue or whether they are truly morally bankrupt racists doesn't matter to me. They are part of the public face of fascist political movement that seeks to destroy the democratic idea. Yes. And that's why I always find that Jon Stewart is such a weak ass bitch, because he will excuse his comedian friends for being racist, palling around with racists, making racist jokes under the guise of they're comedians. Bill O'Reilly, that's my man. So yeah, sure, he got, well, let's not talk about why he lost his last job and all those women and the lawsuits he settled. Let's just have him on so we can show people the left and the right can get along. And then we'll be the same motherfucker mocking Democrats for holding up signs like this is not normal. Be like, do something. You first, bitch. You do something too. Like, why don't you do something? Stop palling around with your white buddies just that happen to be racist, and you draw a line in the sand. You want the politicians to draw a line in the sand that you too scared to draw in your own personal life. That's real. Like, that's why we send these motherfuckers up there with not enough, tell them make it enough. In our own lives, we won't make it enough.
Right.
It need to be a bit awkward.
Yes!
Call Joe Rogan's ass out. Stop trying to invite Elon Musk on your show so y'all can be friends and act like it's just a big ass joke as he's destroying the fucking country that you claim to care about. When they're cutting off the 9/11 funds for firefighters and then rolling it back because people online got mad.
Something that you went up there and argued for.
You should be incensed.
Yes, you should.
And you should be incensed that Tony Hinchcliffe is up there making jokes about Puerto Rico and Puerto Ricans, but maybe Wyatt Cenac was right about your ass. How about that? Like, you show me some backbone then. Nah, everybody want to pat the shit on the head like the Jimmy Fallon with Trump back in the day. Everybody want to just pat this little fascism shit on the head like it's cool, but it ain't. and then they want the rest of us to be cool with it. And this is like a fundamental thing I've had for years at this point, and it's why I made my big turn on like I no longer do this thing of like, or I never that I was participating in it, but I am vigilant about not turning this into these politicians, man, these politicians. It's because it is us. The politicians do the shit we want them to do.
Right.
And our country don't want it bad enough.
Not yet. We don't.
And I'm not letting my fellow citizens off the fucking hook.
Nope, y'all are.
The politicians are avatars so that we don't get mad at each other for what we do to each other.
Agreed.
People put people in office that said women do not have the right to have an abortion.
Yes, they did.
People did that. Now you can say it's Senator this and you can say it's the justice that, but you know who put those people in office to get that justice? We did.
Yes, we did.
The person across the street from you, the person with the Trump flag, the one that you keep thinking is virtuous, the one that you keep telling me it's about the economy, the person that you keep telling me it's not really about racism, the person you keep saying it's the Democratic messages and reaching them, the person that's anti-union but voted for an anti-union president, but they in a union and they losing their rights and they just don't know how this happened. Meanwhile, if you break down the groups, the women, the black people in the union, the women in the union, Latinos in the union, all of a sudden the union is actually not voting for Trump.
No, they're
it's
not.
only when you throw these white people in there. White people like Bill O'Reilly. White people like Megyn Kelly. White people like that one white lady whose name I forgot that went on Trevor Noah when the Daily Show was here. And
I remember that lady. I don't remember that lady.
I don't remember her name anymore.
She took a picture and people lost their mind. I remember.
Yeah. Those people that you make a show of, but I'm cool with them. Gavin Newsom and Steve Bannon. It's that shit. That's it. Because when he's doing a podcast, Gavin Newsom that's not politician Gavin Newsom. That's influencer, entertainer, content creator Gavin Newsom.
Yes,
and content creator Gavin Newsom thinks I need to be hanging around with some white supremacists
and you know,
to show everybody that it ain't that serious. It's that fucking serious.
And you know why? Because he's seen them red bubbles and was
Yes.
like, that's the thing that
same
matters.
Thing for the Daily. Same thing for the Daily Show. Same thing for Young Turks. Same thing for the Breakfast Club.
They looked at them bubbles.
Them bubbles. They want them bubbles. Everybody want to be a bigger bubble.
Yes.
Everyone's trying to be a bigger bubble. And if you want to be a bigger bubble, our reward system in this fucked up country is like, hey man, you gotta pal around with this red. You gotta get Kamala Harris on your show and ask her about hot sauce or listening to Tupac or smoking weed. Don't actually talk to her about policies or anything productive. You gotta pretend that you don't know what race she is. That's more effective to grow that bubble, because some of them red people that listen to them big ass red bubbles, they'll tune into that episode. They'll want to hear what you got to say about that. Oh, Charlamagne said maybe we should vote Republican. Let me check that out. Stephen A. Smith has been kowtowing, pushing Republican agendas, going on Hannity, all this shit. I could be president and all this shit. Them bubbles. It's them bubbles, man. They want them bigger bubbles.
They want them bigger
The bigger bubble is right there. All you got to do is kiss that little red ring, man, and they doing it. Pile around with the red, man. You going to get a bigger bubble. I'm not doing it. We not doing it here. But I'm just saying they'll do it. And you can't, not that you can't blame them, but you see the reasoning when you see that graph.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Told you it's gonna be a different episode. I don't have a lot of topics and stuff. Clearly I'm mad, so this is over. Talk politics till we got mad. That was accomplished.
It sounds like somebody's upset.
I'm definitely upset. Let's just do sword ratchetness, and then we'll be back throughout the week. I forget how many.
We got a few games this week, don't we?
Yeah, but it looked like we got Wednesday free. And tomorrow, so yeah, we got at least 2 more shows probably. All right, let's get into sword ratchetness, and we'll play games and do fun shit tomorrow, hopefully. TSA stops passenger trying to board a flight with a samurai sword.
It's still enough of them right now.
And then Elon Musk fired him. Said, must be too many of y'all. Y'all still catching shit.
Right?
Yeah, TSA was found this. Oh wait, it's a picture. This sword. Okay, actually, let me pull up the tweet so y'all can see it better. Here, because they got a picture of the sword. This sword was found in a passenger's carry-on luggage as they attempted to board an aircraft at Harrisburg International Airport. The passenger was stopped at a TSA security checkpoint. I guess my real question is like, how are you not in jail?
That got a hole here. How many inches longer than your arm? How many inches is that thing?
How are you not in jail? I don't understand. What am I missing? Help me out. What? Oh, my bad. I didn't realize my sword was still on me. It's a sword. Like you was trying to carry on a sword, my guy?
Did they have it in the hilt too?
You should not be allowed to fly. What are you bringing it on there just to be like, listen, I heard what y'all been doing with these planes lately. Okay. My shit gonna land. And it's gonna land right side up. So I'm just letting everybody know.
Thank you.
Just letting everybody know. I don't want no
Y'all
tricks.
better when the person says fasten your seatbelt, the pilot said you better fasten it.
Airplane mode, bitch. Hey, everybody go to airplane mode. We not playing on this motherfucker today. Okay, you either get on the plane Wi-Fi when we get in the air, or you just put it on airplane mode.
Put that shit on airplane mode.
Okay, stay seated.
Ain't no going to the bathroom on this trip.
Stop standing up just because we started to descend. Y'all better stop trying to stand up. Sit your ass down before I make change.
Y'all see the seatbelt icon? It means something.
Right. The fuck y'all mean? No, they gonna serve drinks when it's time to serve drinks. Until then, do not move about the cabin.
No, do not move.
Okay? I'm gonna be prop quizzing people. What did she say the emergency exit was? Here and here. Okay? I want to see them exits.
What strings did she say pull on your emergency vest?
Right.
Asking no questions.
You sitting by the emergency door, you might be asked to help people. You prepared? You know what?
Don't lie to me, because if we need to move, you let me know.
Show me how to put that mask on first for yourself before you put it on your kids. Show it. Blow up that flotation device under the seat. I need to see you do it.
I need to see it in real time. Don't be fucking around. Do it expeditiously.
Right. I don't want no. If I smell smoke, everyone's gonna get the smoke. If I smell smoke in this motherfucker, we landing this shit.
We is landing,
and we landing it the right way on 3 wheels, nigga. None of this.
None of this other bullshit.
Denzel in that airplane movie bullshit. Y'all better 100%.
We is not nose diving. We ain't doing none of that bullshit. We gonna be curving to the left or to the right, depending on how we going around the earth.
We ain't doing bird strikes.
Mm-mm.
That's why I brought this sword with me. Maybe I'm on this person's side now. I can see why. You know what? This is the first time ever. But
Somebody said they guarding the cockpit. Yes, right. They like the pilot is busy. Keep your ass back in the back.
What did she say? Drinks will be served in a little bit. You'll get your drink. Don't worry about that. All right, y'all. That's it. Thanks for listening. We'll be back.
Thank you, y'all.
Till next time. I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.